I'll laugh now. This is a pre-warning that all jokes are going to be very bad. So, I'm sorry. Please forgive me in advance. Okay, my turn. Sorry, I look fancy for you guys. Okay. His name is Henry, by the way. Thanks, Henry. I don't mean to molest her, Henry. Most people say to me, why the hell would you make a pair of jeans that looks this? The fan is going to kill it. Most people say, why would you make a pair of jeans that can stand on its own? That's this uncomfortable, guaranteed uncomfortable or your money back. My answer is usually because I can. But also because I find that human beings are fascinated with anything that is a superlative. You know what a superlative is? Like the most extreme of something. Like, why would somebody climb Mount Everest? Is it easy or fun or comfortable or inexpensive? No. They do it because you know, human beings love, like, why does somebody love Usain Bolt, right? He's the fastest man in the world and thrills people in the Guinness Book of World Records. So this is my denim superlative, the heaviest pair of motherfucking jeans ever made. Are we waiting for more people, or that's that? We're good. All right. You guys skipped spring and went right to summer. Come to Canada, it's still like snowing. Oh no, we're good, I promise. In Edmonton, I think it might be snowing, but screw them, that's my place. We're from Montreal. All right, well, so hello everybody, and my name is Brandon, and I make pants, and specifically Naked and Famous Denim jeans, and available at P's and Q's near you, of course. And I guess, you know, I'm not sure who was here last time. I did a whole speech here last time, so sorry if I repeat some of it, but I am the same guy and I still make the same pants, so you might hear the same, a bit of what we talked about before. But I guess I'll talk a little bit more about you know, fading, since this is our fading event, and maybe I'll even talk a little bit more about the business side, because last time I was here and I gave a whole talk about denim, and a lot of people came to ask me afterwards, like, you know, entrepreneurial questions, so maybe I'll bug you guys about that too. So, well, first, I guess I'll tell you our brand concept, and you know, what I did to make the brand, and I'll tell you why I love Japanese denim, and then I'll show you some crazy shit and you'll say I'm crazy and I will agree. Okay. So our brand concept, we go to Japan and find the craziest, the most rare, the most expensive denim I can get my hands on, bring it all back to Canada where we are from. We're the crazy Canadian denim nerds at your service, but nerd is the new cool, so don't even worry about it. And thank you for laughing. And but we keep everything simple and clean, so you know, all these jeans that you see on the walls here, that was actually beat up by real people. You know, jeans worn by humans, crazy concept. And beat up by them and their bodies instead of by chemicals and enzymes and all that stuff. So we don't do that ever to any of our pants. We don't do washes, we don't do embroidery, we don't do rips and holes and chains, and there's no dragons all over our jeans. I'm sorry, our jeans are dragon free. I know you were looking for them, but you'll have to go to the next store. I think there's a Saxford Avenue somewhere around here. Oh, that is one of my favorites. I'm sorry if I go on tangents, but we don't sell to Saxford Avenue. We sell to Barney, so I think that's fine to sell. There's a store in Canada called Holt Renfrew. Have any of you heard of it? It doesn't exist here, so you might not have, but it's like the Saks or Barney's or Neiman or whatever of Canada. Imagine not having any competitors. It's the only luxury department store in Canada, which is kind of amazing. It's owned by the Weston family. The Mr. Weston, Galen Weston, he bought it for his wife for her birthday. So it's, of course, a very nice birthday present. And so make a note that you should always buy luxury department stores for your ladies, okay, for their birthday. And so 5 years ago, I go into the store and I say, hey, do you know what Selvage denim is? And the buyer says, yes, of course I do. I know what Selvage denim is. I'm the denim buyer. How dare you ask me? He's the buyer now for TJ Maxx, by the way. And so that's why I'm allowed to make fun of him, because he's gone. And he says, yes, of course I know what Selvage denim is. Salvaged, recycled denim. I said, no, sir. Nothing to do with salvage, but selvage from the self-edge of the fabric. And you can even see here on this little poster here that the fabric itself has two self-edges. And the first thing that you've got to know about all denim fabric, or in fact all woven fabric, so even your blue shirt, or, for example, or your shorts, or a gentleman's suit, they're all made with two different directions of yarn, made with warp yarns and weft yarns. So if anyone took a fabric class, you're getting a refresher now. And the warp yarns are the running vertical yarns. On jeans, they're usually blue, which is why your jeans are blue on the outside. And then the weft yarns, which fill the denim, are usually white, which is why your jeans are white on the inside. And these old machines that make denim the old school way, that make selvage denim, are called shuttle looms. So has anyone ever seen like the movie Wanted 5 years ago? There's a little shuttle inside, and Angelina Jolie reaches down and tells her who to murder next. Anyway, the denim the shuttle that makes the denim is less magical. Doesn't tell Angelina Jolie who to murder next, but it does make a mean fabric. And you'd all be laughing at that joke if the movie just came out. So 5 years ago, I swear that joke killed. And I've never even seen the movie, but every time I brought a shuttle out, oh, is that from Wanted? I'm like, no, it's not from the fucking movie Wanted. It's from Shuttle Looms. Anyway, so what the shuttle loom, or what the shuttle does, is it drops in, and there'll be like 3,000 pounds of indigo yarn, and it feeds through into the machine, the warp yarns. And then there'll be like 10 different shuttles, and the shuttle pops down, literally shuttles back and forth along the fabric. So it'll be shuttling this way. On each pass, it seals the edge of the fabric closed, making this self-edge, hence selvage denim. So that's why it's called selvage denim, and that's how you can identify it. When you flip up the cuff of the jean, you see the little selvage edge there. But your next question should be, who cares? What does that mean to me? And okay, I can identify it, and I see it has a self edge, but why do I give a shit? And how dare you swear at me? And thank you back there. And so, you know, why should you care, and why do denim aficionados and why do denim fanatics like me love selvage denim? It's because it goes back to the old school way before denim was about mass production and when it was all about quality. So basically in the 1950s, Levi saw the creation of rock and roll and celebrities, and they saw cool dudes like, you know, James Dean and Marlon Brando rocking jeans with the cuff flipped up, and they knew that jeans were no longer going to be you know, just workwear or for cowboys or coal miners. They said, now we know that jeans are eventually going to be Americana staple, and they were right, of course. And so they said, screw these old machines. They're too slow, they're too expensive to run, and they make denim that's too narrow. You see this fabric? It's only 30 inches wide from edge to edge. It'll come like this, rolled up about 50 meters at a time, or 55 yards for you crazy Americans. I love Americans, by the way, but your counting system is messed up. And what's with this Fahrenheit? 32 to 212, that's easy for you guys? How about 0 to 100? But I love Americans, I swear. And how many feet are in a mile? You don't even know the answer, you see? And 1,320 feet in a quarter mile. And so basically the fabric is very narrow, and they said, this is no good for us anymore. We want to switch over to mass production, and so they switched over to machines called projectile looms. And projectile looms do exactly what they're called. They project the weft across, chop it off at the end, and you have a frayed, opened edge. Just to confuse you a little bit, it's also called the selvage of the fabric. The edge of every woven fabric is called the selvage. This is just called selvage denim because it has the famous closed selvage. So the other one has an open and frame selvage. This one has a closed selvage, it's called selvage denim. The other one we call projectile loom or wide width denim. It comes double as wide, about 60 inches wide, maybe 58 to 60 inches wide depending on the fabric. And selvage denim comes, you know, 28 to 32 inches wide on average. And so it takes me about double as much. It takes about 2.5 yards instead of about 1.4 yards to make a pair of jeans out of this narrow denim. And we still have it out for half the price of all those Hollywood brands. That's how you know we're not ripping you off, and they are. And so basically, when not only that, it's not only that the new machines make the fabric double as wide, but it actually makes it 10 times faster than this denim is made. But what they lost is the quality. They lost the old school way. They lost the manufacturing process that's all about quality, and that it is about taking your time and making something right and making something beautifully and making something as a piece of art instead of just the race to the bottom. And my favorite analogy between this denim and the newer mass-produced denim is like the luxury watch industry. And do you guys know what a mechanical or automatic watch is? Like you've heard of Rolex, and you've got one on right there, and a Vacheron Constantin, Patek Philippe, all these fancy you know, Swiss watches. There's no battery inside, there's no microchip, there's no quartz. It all runs with an automatic technology. It all runs with gears and rotors and springs. They've been doing it for hundreds of years in Switzerland, making it this way. Same thing to me. That newer digital watch is just a good result today, I think. And so basically they have these giant machines, like 50 feet high or so, and they attach the warp yarn to the top of the machine. It's not done by hand, even though I can tell you later there's another crazy process which we actually do hand-dyed yarns, but anyway, that's for another time. And they attach the yarn to the top of the machine, dip it down to bath indigo, pull it out, and let it dry. Once it's dry, dip again, and pull out, and let it dry, and dip and dry, and dip and dry, and dip and dry. But the secret is, and the difference is between the two different processes, is that in rope dyeing, the yarn doesn't stay in the bath very long. it gets in there, it gets coated, and then it sends out. And so that means that the center of the yarn never gets dyed. And it's what's called a white core or a white center. And so you have the, like my finger was the yarn, and it's all white, and then there's all these layers of indigo on the outside, and it leaves the core white. And as you beat the shit out of your jeans, it cracks through those exterior layers, revealing the white honeycomb contrast interior, and you have a more beautiful faded pair of jeans. And you know, we actually have even done a pair of jeans, which you see on the wall here. This proves that rope dyeing exists, and this proves that we really do use it, because there would be no other way to get the result of this, what we call a red core jean. So to get this, was like when this jean started off, there was no red, and you don't see red on the inside, right? Because it has not. When jeans fade, it has nothing to do with the weft that fades. It's the warp that fades. Yeah, when your jean tears through, then the white weft yarn starts to poke. But just the abrasion and the everyday wear is beating up the warp yarns, beating up the top of your jeans, and you know, getting them to fade. And so to make this jean, what we did is we used both dyeing methods. So first, I take a thyrene reactive dye, and those are kind of dyes like your red t-shirt is dyed probably in a thyrene or some kind of reactive dye, which doesn't fade. If you take that red t-shirt, you're going to wash that 20 times, it's not going to fade, right? And so what we do is we take this dye and we dye it in the warp yarns in a vat dyeing method. So we have these red permanently dyed yarns dyed to the core. Then we let it dry, and then we attach it to the rope dyeing machines, which have a sulfur-based indigo dye. Then we dye it in, over in indigo, and so you have red on the inside with all these layers of indigo on the outside. When these jeans are brand new, you don't see any red. And actually, I was in San Francisco, I think it was maybe like 6 months or a year ago, and I see this dude like coming out of a bar, and he's wearing the red core jeans. I mean, there's no other jeans that are all faded out to red. So I'm like, hey dude, Naked and Famous Denim jeans, you know, you're wearing them, it looks cool. And he looks down and he goes, yeah, how did you know? You know, you didn't see the tag or anything. I didn't tell him that I make the pants. I just said, yeah, the red core. I said, you're wearing the red cores, it's blue jeans that fade to red. And I don't think he really heard me exactly what I said. And he said, oh yeah. He said, like, yeah, they got all red. He said, I think my mom must have washed my jeans with a red t-shirt or something. You know, his mom bought him the jeans, ripped off all the tags, just gave it to him, and he had no idea. And he's just wearing them, and his mom's washing them, and like the more she washes, the more he wears, the more red the jeans get. And he's like, yeah, they're pretty fucking cool, but I think my mom like washed them with a you know, some like a red sweater or something. So and I didn't correct him, by the way. I let him go on his life thinking that. So I just thought it was kind of fun. I have another friend who we make glow-in-the-dark jeans as well. And he bought them for his friend, ripped off all the tags. The guy went disco bowling, you know, do you have that in Philly? Is there like the black light bowling? So he goes black light bowling and jeans start glowing. He's like, what the fuck is going on here? So like, I thought that was quite funny as well. But so I'm not saying to trick all your friends, by the way. You can tell them what you buy them. It was yeah, disclaimer. But I think they were all happy, so it's a good ending. And so yeah, so this is proof that rope dyeing exists. And just since I'm talking about fading now, I'd like to dispel some rumors as well, because a lot of people think that there's a rule. Like some brands, which I won't mention now because he's filming me and I won't make fun of them. You know, some brands will say, okay, so the rule is wash it 6 months. But that's so silly, because what if one guy is a bike messenger or a skateboarder or whatever, or some guy who's really beating up his jeans every day, and you know, he's biking, he's skating, he's running around, you know, all day long, beating the crap out of his jeans for 6 months. And another gentleman is an accountant or a lawyer or whatever, and of course he can't wear jeans during the day, it's not appropriate for his job, and so he wears them maybe sometimes in the evening, or he wears them on the weekend for you know, 1 or 2 days a week. At 6 months, those two gentlemen do not have the same faded pair of jeans, right? So how can you give them an arbitrary time? That's such nonsense. So the whole fun of raw denim is that you get to decide. Like my doctor, he's a 65-year-old guy, you know, he's you know, made a lot of money over his life, and he likes our jeans because they're dragon free. Again, I'm sorry. And so you know, he calls me up one day and says, Brandon, what's going on? My son tells me I'm not allowed to wash these jeans because they're raw. I'm like, oh, what the fuck does that mean? What if I spill on them, or get beer on them, or just sweat in them, or what if they just get dirty? I said, no, of course not, doctor. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can wash them everywhere. You can wash them once a week, whatever makes you happy. Or this other crazy concept called washing your jeans when they get very dirty. I know it's outlandish, but it's another crazy process you can do, washing your jeans when they get dirty. Or another time when your girlfriend or boyfriend perhaps elbows you in the side and says, honey, now perhaps it's time to wash. That's another decent indication of when you might want to wash your jeans. But you shouldn't listen to me. You should do whatever makes you happy. If you want to never wash your jeans, or like, even back to my doctor as an example, he has a 22-year-old son, and that guy is like a skateboarder, you know, those longboards, so he goes along in the longboard, and he falls down, he gets a scratch, and then he's, oh nice, I got a new rip in my jeans, I have to go get them repaired and stuff. And you know, so he never washes his jeans. He has a pair that he's done, I think, like 2 years or like 2 years and X amount of months, and he's never washed them. His girlfriend thinks it's gross, and so maybe it's not the most advisable thing to do, because you got to keep the ladies happy, or whoever your significant other is. And but you know, it doesn't matter because that's fun for him. Or a lot of people ask me, hey, what about the freezer trick? Should I put my jeans in the freezer? Will that clean them? Or you know, what about that? I read on the internet one time, oh, the founder Brandon Svarc says he puts his jeans in the freezer to clean them. Like, nobody told me. I never tried that move, but I wish they told me before I actually did it, you know. And so I say, but that's okay, you know. Denim and leather really are the two materials that I like the most, because they're the two that people obsess about, like even with like a leather belt or a leather motorcycle jacket is a great example. When you start it off, it's all rigid, it's kind of uncomfortable, and you got to really beat the shit out of it. You got to break in the arms, you got to break in the chest, you got to break in the back, and it gets more beautiful the more you beat the crap out of it. And then there'll be guys, oh, you got to put mink oil on it, oh, and you got to do it after this day, oh, don't leave it in the sun, oh, and make sure you do this with your leather jacket and that. And the same thing with denim. Should I put it in the freezer? Should I jump in the lake with it? Should I pre-soak? Should I not? Is it in sand fries? Should I wash that 6 months? How do I wash this way? What kind of repair do I do? It's so much fun. Like, there's no other product, maybe suits, you know, that guys are obsessed with all the details for it too. But I think that it's just such a beautiful material that there's so much options, there's so much that you can do and play with it. And it's why we love raw denim, it's why we love beating the crap out of it. And yeah, so I can even show you some of the ones that are over here. This one is my, I don't know, I hate to have a favorite because I think that they're all awesome and it's something that is personal, so I don't think that there's a better or worse. Oh, but I forgot to say freezer. Okay, so I'll pause. I should finish my, my freezer thing of what I was saying, because I don't think that the freezer trick, so to speak, is a total farce. I think that it could work not to clean your jeans, but perhaps to eliminate some of the smell. But logically, like, you know, you guys have in your freezer or fridge, sometimes you put the Arm & Hammer baking powder. You ever do that, or see your mom do it, and it absorbs some of like the old food smells or something like that? And so the same thing. If you're gonna put your jeans in the freezer, get yourself one of those baking powder, baking soda things, put it there. Maybe it will absorb some of the smell of your jeans, but certainly I don't think it's going to clean them. So if your jeans are kind of stinky, it could be a cool trick to do. A guy from Amsterdam one time told me a neat trick that he does, and it's just logical as well. He said that he hangs his jeans, and that makes a lot of sense, you know. Like, I try to hang my jeans. A lot of guys, they come home, they work hard all day or whatever, and they just throw their jeans on the floor, and your jeans are in a heap. I mean, maybe that's not the best idea. Your jeans are going to start getting stinky as they're in. But this guy said, okay, I hang my jeans. And yeah, that makes sense. You know, me too. I try to hang them, get the air going through them. But he said, what I do is I alternate 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So what I do is 2 weeks, I hang my jeans right side up. Then 2 weeks, every day I hang them inside out. And that kind of lets them breathe, you know, 2 weeks on the inside, 2 weeks on the outside. I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, but you know, I thought it was a neat trick. So if you're gonna hang dry, it could be a cool little thing to try to, you know, do it inside out one and right side out the other. When it does come time to wash, you know, if you want to kind of preserve the color a little bit, you can wash the jeans inside out actually in cold water and hang to dry. You can even find some wool-like black if you want to keep the color going. But it's also a misconception that once you wash your jeans, like, that's it, they're not going to fade anymore. That's bullshit. You know, I do say to kind of like, when guys come and say, okay, you know what, I understand, you know, wash jeans when they get dirty, okay, you know, it's funny, but what if I want to beat up my jeans? What if I want to get those, you know, marks and fades and you know, what these guys have done on the walls here? So I say, okay, you know, wear your jeans for as long as you can. It could be 6 months or 8 months or whatever is personal to you. As soon as you're getting those creases and those marks and those folds on the whiskers and on the honeycombs behind your knees, then you can go ahead and wash them. And then you can wash them every few weeks or every month or every 2 months, you know, whatever makes you happy. And the more you wash it, the more the indigo is going to come out. The jeans are going to keep fading. You don't have to worry. It's not like it locks in the jeans forever. And you know, you can wash them as you need to from there. Another thing that people sometimes are afraid of is doing repairs on their jeans. But repairs is part of the fun. Like, you know, if you wear your jeans for a year every day, chances are, well, I mean, it depends what you are. If you're an accountant, maybe they're not going to be beat up if you're sitting in a cubicle all day. But if you're a bike messenger and like you're wearing your jeans every single day, like, you might get damage in the crotch, you might get damage in the seat, you might get damage in the inseam. Go ahead and get them repaired, get a patch. As soon as you see a sign of, you know, something going on, take it to your tailor. You can send the jeans back to us. There's several companies on the internet that do it, denim tailors. Anyway, you can Google it. The Google has all the answers. You can see where to take it to. And don't be afraid of getting your jeans repaired and prolonging their lives. So this one is a pair of our 32-ounce jeans, which you also saw standing on the floor. We did a black version, we did an indigo version. The indigo version fades a little bit better. And so you can see this is worn by a pretty hardcore, and so he takes the jeans and he's turning them inside out, and like we have heavy raw denim. Like I think he was maybe selling like Page at the time or something like that. You know, these soft, silicone, stretchy jeans for girls and all that stuff. He's looking at our rigid, crazy jeans and he's like feeling them. He turns it inside out and he's like, whoa. And he says to me, no friggin' way can I sell these jeans. I'm like, oh, you know, like another guy who says like he just can't sell for us, he doesn't want to sell for us. And he says, but I know the one guy who can sell these jeans for you. He says, I know who it is. I said, okay, you know, I get my pencil, my pad, and I'm like, okay, can I have the guy's phone number? He says, yeah, you. I said, oh shit, you know, like, we said, you know, you ask yourself, now if a young designer comes to me and says, hey, you know, give me your best piece of advice. I say, okay, I ask you 2 questions, and with that answer, you will know what is the best piece of advice. And I said to him, well, who likes your brand more than you? Who loves and has more passion for your brand than you? And then every time the designer says, well, nobody is my brand. I love the brand more than anybody. I said, okay. And then I said, who knows more about your brand than you? Who is the person that knows more about your brand than you? And they said, well, nobody. So then how can you let someone else sell it? You have to be the one to sell it. And they're like, okay, you know, good piece of advice. And it really does work, because if I didn't sell it myself, I know that we wouldn't be here today, because I love it. I really do have the passion for it. And you know, you got to sell yourself. You're gonna be. I was scared, and I was knocking on doors. Like I didn't have appointments, and sometimes, like, you know, I go to a store in Toronto. It was called, anyway, I don't even remember the name, or I shouldn't say it. And I go in. I had a suitcase. I knock on the door. I'm a 23-year-old, you know, skinny little kid, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is in Canada. I'm from Canada, and our jeans are made in Canada. You know, so I already have like kind of a good story to tell them to get in the door. And I say to him, okay, you know, I'm sorry for not making an appointment in advance, but I'm just in Toronto, and I'd like to know if, you know, if you guys wanted to check out my collection. And the owner of the store says, how dare you? This is rude of you. And he was like kind of like giving me shit. And I was like, okay, you know, I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just going around, you know, wanted to see if you like to see it. You know, take care. Here's my card. And then I went across the street to another store, and they were like, oh yeah, okay, fine. And they gave me a chance, and they bought it right on the spot. And they're one of our best customers now for the past 6.5 years. And the store across the street called us back already 2 years ago, begging for the brand, and we won't sell to them because we sell to the guys across the street. So sometimes it works out quite nicely that way. But you know, it's okay. You know, sometimes it's going to be scary, and you're going to get denied, and people are going to tell you to go fuck yourself, and you know, you just got to take it and go across the street, and you know, go to the next guy. But if I didn't sell it myself, I wouldn't have learned more about the customers. I wouldn't have learned more about the sales side of it. So you know, you got to just dig in and have passion and do it yourself, man. And does anyone have questions? By the way, I talk very fast and don't often leave time. This will allow me to drink also. How about you, Key? You have any questions? Huh? No, this is amazing. Built in.